Hi, this is Rob Britt, and welcome to the podcast for the recently diagnosed. I am trying out a new gizmo, which is a harness thing that straps around my neck and holds my camera so I can give you a first-person perspective, which I think is pretty good for what I'm going to talk about today, which is the Cala Kick device, which is this watch-like thing right here. And kIQ is spelled kIQ, and it comes with a patient guide to show you how to set this whole thing up. So I'll talk a little bit. First of all, I got this large box, which I don't know if you can tell how big that is. It's probably 1 foot square, well, a little bit longer than a foot long. Anyway, that came with a bunch of boxes. So this isn't quite the unpacking, but I'll talk a little bit about it. So here's the initial box I opened up, which is upside down, I guess. But anyway, you can see that it came actually with a charger unit that was right in here. And that unit, anyway, that unit is plugged in and set up in my bedroom so I can charge this watch at night. And in the center section was where the actual device is, the face that pops into this band. So if you look in the back here, the band is a separate unit, and then this right here is the watch unit. These are the two connections that hook up to the charging unit. So it just sits in the charging unit like this. Like if the charging unit was there where it came, it would sit there and it would light up and whatever. And then right here is where the watch band came in. So apparently there's issues with the watch band. I'm going to close this up because there really isn't anything too startling in this packaging for you to see. But in addition to the normal stuff, which is just the charger. Sorry, I'm just not used to this harness, so this is going a little bit awkwardly for me. The charger and the watch band and the unit itself came in this large box, and I was like, why do I have all these extra boxes? So there were 3 additional boxes in there, and if you open them up, there's an additional band. So it came with 1 band in the main box, and then 3 more bands, because apparently these bands are known for breaking, so they're just trying to beat us to the punch, I guess. And if you look on the band, you can see these 3 stripes and 3 stripes, the parallel lines. Those are like, I'll say electrodes. That might not be the exact right term, but those go right against your wrist. So what they tell you to do is to get your wrist wet so you get a good connection with the electrodes. Then you put the watch on, and the watch goes on just like any watch would, and it goes on whichever hand you are more looking to improve your tremors on. And you could wear 2 of these at the same time, apparently, from the literature I'm reading, but I just got 1, and it just straps on, and it's a Velcro strap. And then those parallel lines are like underneath here, and you can see sort of this line right here, these double yellow or double white lines maybe. Those should be basically centered on your wrist underneath. And then once you have the watch on, you have to do a calibration. And the calibration for me anyway, and it's different depending exactly what kind of tremor you're looking at. But for me, the calibration is just having my hands kind of straight out in front of me. And they call it the tremor task, if you can read that right there. So if I push this is the main power button, and it tells you the time. If you hit the second time, it says start session. So I'm going to push the button. Hopefully you can read that. It says, push button to start task. So I'm going to push the button, start my task, which is holding my hands out straight. And then you can see my left hand tremors a lot more than my right. The task or the calibration happens, and then pretty much immediately it says do tremor task. I did it. Then it asks you to start therapy or exit. So you could use these buttons over here, push this button down, it would switch over to exit. But I'm going to hit start therapy, and then it says starting therapy. Hopefully you can read that. And now, because those electrodes are down here and connected to my skin, there's a little bit of, like, I can feel a pulsing. If you're familiar with the TENS device, TNS, it is kind of a muscle therapy device. When you're having issues with muscle soreness, you can use that TENS unit, and it gives you a little bit of a shock. This feels a bit like this, and at the beginning you're calibrating it and letting it know what level of shock you want to get. And the shock is not painful, but it's sort of annoying. And I set mine, I haven't figured out how to reset this, but if you can look at that, it says adjust intensity. Well, if you hold this again, there it's at 2.5. If I push it once, it goes down to 2.25. Then 2 is really the intensity level that I wanted at. And this, I don't know why it popped back to say. The whole session is 40 minutes long, and it counts down for 40 minutes. And during this 40 minutes, I'm constantly feeling this little bit of a shock going on, but it's not, like I said, not really annoying. It just is what it is. There's a little bit of, you can feel a little bit of tingle going on. And like I said, you can adjust that when you're first setting up your watch, and I'm sure somewhere in the guide that I got with this, whatever that is, somewhere in this guide, it says how to adjust that back, but mine's set at default right now, 2.5 or something, which is fairly intense. But because I just got it and I'm kind of trying to see what's going on, I just left it there. So right now the face is off, but the task is still going on. I'm going to walk over into my kitchen. And here's some cups, so just for the sake of talking. If you look at how much I'm trembling with this, it's not very much at all. And if you look at my left hand, which is way worse, that doesn't have, obviously I don't have this watch device on it, but you can see my right hand is not nearly as bad as my left side. But with this band on, I have a little bit of a tremor, but not too much. That's on that side. That's an empty glass. This cup is a larger cup, but you can see how full it is. It's right up to there. Not too much movement. And normally I wouldn't fill this cup all the way up and hold it with either hand. With both hands, it would be more steady, but with one hand, not so much. Anyhow, this task cycle, whatever, goes 40 minutes. And then what they say is that the reduced tremor will go on for another 30 minutes or so after the actual active session is complete. So the shocking portion of this will end after 40 minutes. And then the impact to my hand tremors will continue to be reduced for another additional 30 minutes. And you can do this up to, it's either 4 or 5 times a day. I don't remember which one. I would see I can speak English. I can see me using this, looking at timing out when my meals are, because that's really the most, the part where I really want this to be impacting me is while I'm at tasks like using utensils or drinking or out somewhere. So if I know, for example, I'm going out at 6 o'clock in the evening, like 10 after 5, I would probably put this device on, do 40 minutes of the therapy, and by the time I go out, I can take the watch back off, and then I should get another, 30 minutes or so of peaceful time. I might time that differently depending on how fast service would be or whatever. So anyway, that is my quick overview of the Cala kIQ device. And I will probably do another video on this. You have 90 days to have the device before you can either determine whether you're going to keep it if it's effective for you, or if you want to return it if it is not effective for you. So hope this video was informative. If you like this channel, I appreciate any likes and subscriptions. And that's it for today. Have a great one.